So this is my character. In this short tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can attach the camera to the head and actually rotate the head instead of the camera direct. So we can see here that we have already camera attached, and I am making my character modular, so everything is a game feature, so our character is basically empty. We have the spring arm and the cameras, few settings in here. I added camera lock, this is for separating. I also disabled collision test, and I attached my camera to the spring arm. Also set the target arm length to 0. Now you can attach this to your mesh and then select the parent sockets to the head and then just do some rotations and offsets to make it appear in front of the head. And that's basically it for the setup in here. Next thing that we will need to do is just create the actual rotations. So in here we have this vector 2D for head rotation offset, and this offset goes from -40 to 40 and -50 to 45 for X and Y. The different numbers are because when we are rotating head, we rotate head differently when we look up and down or left or right. So we are saving X and Y. And here are some modifiers for the rotation speed, and we just saved this value. Now we are not using it in here, we are using it in our animation blueprint. So in here we can completely ignore all of this. This is just some settings for some other animations, and what we care about is this for transforms. So we have transform modify bone for our bone head, another for the bone head, and then another for the neck. The reason why I animate the neck is just to give it some extra neck rotation, because when we rotate our head, we don't just rotate our actual head, we also rotate the neck. How I did this is I created two transform modifies, and then I use this head offset. Of course, everything is set up in here. We have our character reference, and then we get our head rotation offset, or actually our component reference, because I'm keeping everything in components. First, you might notice that when we add to modify bone, we have this rotation Z in here, but we are using it separately on another transform that seems kind of similar to this one. The reason is that there is I'm not sure if it's a bug, but after one rotation is added, then the other rotation is added onto that rotation, so it creates some weird situations where if I rotate, let's say, my head 90 degrees to the side and then rotate to look up, it will actually rotate my head to tilt to the side. It's kind of hard to explain. You can try to connect it in here and test it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But this transform, when you create it, you need to select bone to modify. You need to ignore scale and translation, and you only care about rotation, add to existing, and bone space. This is what worked for me. Hopefully it's what will work for you. So we add 2 for the head and then 2 for the neck, and then there is some modifications for the neck. So we don't want the neck to rotate the same amount as the head. If head rotates 40 degrees, rotating the neck 40 degrees will be very unrealistic, especially since I selected neck 02. There is also neck 01, but I thought it looked fine enough with this, but of course you could make it even more granular and add for every neck bone a little bit of rotation. So yeah, that's kind of about it. There is some clamps, so our neck doesn't rotate as far, and then the division, so our neck rotates half as fast to make it look more realistic. And that's about it.